Hi guys, today I'm back with another foundation review. Today it is all about something fairly new from the Sephora brand. It is the Matte Perfection Tinted Moisturizer. As always, I will be doing a before and after, flash photo test, a wear test to show you how it looks throughout the day, so there will be timestamps down below if you'd like to skip ahead. I've also in the past reviewed a Sephora powder foundation and a Sephora stick foundation, so I will link to those down below as well, along with some other oily skin content if you are curious to check that out. But let's go ahead and get started. So this launched pretty recently. I picked it up during the most recent Sephora VIB sale. It is a really great price. It is $18 American, $24 Canadian. You're getting the full fluid ounce in there, like a smidge above the full fluid ounce, which is the average size of a foundation. You are only getting 15 shades in this, however. Generally, Sephora collection does a really good job with their shade ranges. They are very extensive, both in their complexion products, like you get a ton of shades, but also in a lot of like their lipsticks, their eyeshadows, like they always do a ton of color, and I feel like this brand can definitely be overlooked. So I was curious to check this out because I've been really into a lighter coverage product lately. It said matte in it, which is always appealing, but the 15 shades there is a little bit of a bummer because the shades, like I had a lot of trouble finding my shade when I first ordered it. I think I ordered shade 12, just kind of guessing off of the Sephora website, so then I had to go in store and exchange it, and I picked up shade number 9 Chiffon, but I was really torn between this one and shade 8, but shade 8 was so much lighter and then shade 9 was so much darker, so it really made it a little bit tricky for me to find my shade match, and I don't feel like it's a light enough coverage product that you can get away with. Like, it is sheer, but at the same time I feel like if I was to use shade 8 it would just look so pale on my skin. But shade 9, like if you're generally a shade match for me, I still think this is going to be too dark for you. I'm reviewing this right now because I just got back from vacation and I've got a lot of color, so this is one of the only products that has that's in my collection that's been matching me, so I've been able to test this out quite a bit. But if you can get in store, grab a sample of 8 and 9, but definitely I would love to see like an 8.5 in there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my face. I will prime this half of my face as always. So I'm using about this much product. I don't know if I'll pump out more. It's just kind of a squeezy tube. It doesn't have a pump on it, which I don't mind. You'll see I've got a couple breakouts here, so you'll be able to see how much coverage it gives. I'm going to use this Wet n Wild brush today, as always. And it does say on the Sephora website that it is sheer, so it covers a wide range of skin tones, which, like, yes, it's going to do a better job than something that's super full coverage, but I don't know. I'd like to see a couple more shades in there, especially because I know that they can do a wide shade range. But it says it's sheer, it's, what do they say on the back? I think on the back they say sheer to medium coverage, but on the website it says sheer, weightless, instantly moisturizes skin, and it's a mattifying tinted moisturizer. I'm going to kind of stipple it into the skin. And one thing I noticed in testing this out, because the first couple times I used this, like the weather in Toronto has been really weird, so we had a couple of really hot days and I had worn it and I noticed that like it's not that matte on application of the skin. So I was like, okay, let me put on my primer, let me put on like a little bit of the Too Faced mattifying loose powder. That's one of my favorite powders to kind of powder under my makeup to really help mattify and help my makeup last longer, but it does not play well putting powder under it. I don't know if it was just the combinations I was using or what, but it kind of like it just started not to get almost like a little bit flaky, I guess, or something like that. I've never had that experience before, putting powder under a product, maybe because it's so lightweight or something, but it did not like that at all. I'm gonna add just a little bit more to my cheeks. And I know I say this in like every review, but just in case you're new, if you are trying to get a bunch of coverage and you do have oily skin, don't reach for something like this that's gonna be sheer, because you never want to put too much product on your face, because it'll look heavier and it'll just get oilier faster, I find anyways. But you can see like it blends into the skin really easily. It does have this kind of nice sheer coverage, sheer to light, and the shade match is quite good for right now. But like I said, I have so much color, like I have so many foundations to review and I will be reviewing them, but I just can't right now because my skin tone is like, I'm a different person basically right now. So I've done the rest of my makeup. Everything that I'm wearing will be listed down below. One thing I should mention about this moisturizer is I feel like when you put it on, it looks quite not shiny, but there's definitely quite a sheen to it. Like, it doesn't go on matte immediately. Let it set on your skin a little bit before putting on your powder, because I feel like that makes a big difference in terms of how it looks and how it wears. Because the first time that I put it on, I just kind of powdered it immediately and I was like, it doesn't really look that matte. But if you let it set on your skin, it takes a minute or so, it definitely does dry down to more of a matte finish. And then I went in and just did the rest of my makeup like normal. I feel like it has a really nice sheer coverage. I wouldn't say it's like incredibly buildable. It is sheer like they say, and I do feel like it looks quite natural on the skin, but when it does dry down matte, you do lose a little bit of that naturalness. Does that make sense? Because I feel like something that's a little bit more of a semi-matte or a natural finish that has a little bit of a sheen to the skin looks a little bit more skin-like than something that's flat matte. But if you do have oily skin and your skin is going to produce oils, it is kind of nice to start with that more matte base. So I think everything looks really good. I am happy with the way that it turned out in photos as well. I thought it looked quite nice here in my studio lighting. You can see a little bit of that sheen that I mentioned. It's before it has fully set, but even when it fully set, there's still, you can still see a little bit of something. It's not totally flat. And then in a dark room with flash photo, I thought it performed quite good as well. There's no mention of SPF on either the Canadian or the American Sephora site. So far so good. It feels really lightweight on the skin. It does have a little bit of a scent, like a slight scent. Nothing that I find super overpowering, but I'm not particularly sensitive to scents. So I will go ahead and wear this for a few more hours, check back with you in some natural light to show you how it looks there. Coming to you with my midday check-in in some natural lighting. I feel like this is a good way for you to see the true colors outside of my studio, but I think you can see that things look pretty good here. It's a good shade match for me. It's not oxidized. I'm not super oily. As I've mentioned before, I'm definitely more on the combo side now than the extremely oily side, but I think it looks good. It's settled into my face a little bit better, and I really like the way that it looks. No need to blot or anything like that. So I will continue to wear it for a few more hours, and I will check back with you at the end of the day. Back at the end of the day, and if I look or sound a little bit tired, it's because I probably am. I just woke up from a nap. It is about to be that time of the month, and I posted about this on Instagram a little while back, and a lot of you were like, yes, hell yes, me too. But for some reason, my like PMS has changed, and I get so lethargic and tired the week leading up. It's just out of control. So luckily I had enough time today to sneak in a nap, but that is irrelevant. I guess it's not, because I tested out the napability of this tinted moisturizer, and I think it looks really, really good. As I mentioned before, on application, I was a little worried about this the first time I tried it because it doesn't look super matte. It does dry down to a more matte finish. If I was to, I'll probably get questions about comparing it to like the Pat McGrath or the NARS tinted moisturizer. I wouldn't say that it's comparable in the really skin-like look that you get from both of those, because they do have more of a natural finish. But if you're looking for something light coverage that's going to be a little bit more matte, I think this is a great option. If you can find a shade for yourself, I think the price is really good. It's a good item to like throw in your Sephora cart if you need to reach like a shipping minimum, or if you're just looking to like throw a couple extra things in your cart during sale time without really driving up the price. I think this is a really nice product. It feels super lightweight. It looks super lightweight. I wouldn't say, like I said, that it looks as skin-like and as natural as some of the other tinted moisturizers I've tried, but that's kind of the trade-off you get for being a little bit more matte. And I think if you do have an oilier skin type, it will stick around on your face a little bit longer. That being said, if you do already have like a more full coverage foundation that you like, and you're looking to stretch the budget and stretch the product, you can add it a little bit. Just use like a tiny little bit of that foundation to get really light coverage, or mix a little bit in with a moisturizer of your choice. That is another option too. But if you are looking for an actual product, I think this is a great option. If you have a normal skin type, I think you could skip powdering this. Definitely just give it some time to set down. I don't feel like it oxidized. Everything is still in place, and it feels quite comfortable on my skin too. So this is really, really good, because I know I did not love the powder foundation that I tried from Sephora collection, and I liked but wasn't obsessed with the stick foundation from Sephora as well. So this is definitely my favorite Sephora complexion product that I've tried, in terms of like I have their micro smooth powder that's really, really gorgeous. I should have used that today to set my face actually, but I do really like this. Keep in mind, however, it does not play well with putting powder powder underneath. At least that's been my experience, and it is not a super buildable product. It is definitely on the sheer to light side, so it's going to depend on how much coverage you like to get out of your products. And it is a bit of a bummer that the shade range I feel like is lacking slightly. I would like to see a couple more shades in there, because when I lose my color, maybe Shade It will work for me, but when I was like in store testing it out, I went so back and forth on what shade to pick up, and I'm glad I went with a deeper one because it matches me right now for the time being anyway. So yeah, I really like this. Let me know down below if you have tried it and what your other favorites are from Sephora collection. I really like a lot of the stuff they do. I think I'll do like a roundup of my favorites from them, because like I said, I think they can get a little bit forgotten, and they make some great products. It's also cruelty free as well, if that's something you look for in your products, and even if you don't, I think it's a great bonus. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!